This door leads to the Telvanni Peninsula in eastern Morrowind. The wizards of House Telvanni are known for secrecy and intrigue. But a shadow looms over all of them. A shadow filled with emerald eyes. Be cautious, adventurer.
Why does a Telvanni do anything? Ambition, power, greed.
I've heard they formerly used the island to house the mentally unstable and magically insane.
Some, most likely fanciful sources, say the entire geography of this place is made from the ashes of the ancient Dunmer.
I've never turned away the families of the dead before, but if the rumors about illness are true...
To a Telvanni master such as myself, everyone is a spy and a threat.
In a place like this, you don't always need a reason for betrayal.
Every secret and all knowledge finds its way to Apocrypha in time.
I see all that is, was, and will ever be.
In desperation, all things consume one another.
Fate needs you, Proxy. Fate has noticed your talent for altering destiny. Reality hangs in the balance, as does the future of Apocrypha and Nirn. Hence I bring a message from Hermaeus Mora, the one who knows. Mora offers you a purpose, an aspiration dark and heavy. We are bound together by a common danger. Enemies of Hermaeus Mora threaten his realm of oblivion, and in so doing pose a threat to the mortal world as well. Therefore Mora sent me to meet you here, and secure your cooperation. Only a mortal proxy can deal with the threat and save both Apocrypha and Nirn. The fates of both realms are linked, and you are the key to preserving reality. Without you, everything unravels. Help avert this disaster, and Mora will reward you. The one who knows instructed me to give you this. A condensate of planar potentialities. You will not understand. It is ink. Take it to the Redrith Cistern, a ruin near the city. Pour the ink into the water, and your path will be made clear. Fate needs you, Proxy. The one who knows instructed me to give you this.
Greetings, my good friend. Bright Moons, a bonus reward. Just outstanding. Your crates are gone, my friend. But there are always additional crates available for purchase. Bright Moons, welcome. Farewell, my good friend.
Where are all the workers? The Overseer was supposed to meet me hours ago. You there, do you work here? As a notary for the Quama Consortium of Necrom, I demand that you explain why production has halted. Are you aware of the irreparable harm this is inflicting on our image? The Consortium will be none too pleased. Apologies, Traveler. I came on a little strong there. I'm an auditor sent to inspect Anchor Egg Mine. It's been a few days since their last shipment, and the higher-ups are growing restless. Please, this isn't the first workers' strike I've negotiated. Wait, you don't think something dangerous happened here, do you? Well, I have expense funds for this assignment. Might I hire you as a bodyguard while I perform my audit? I'm required to inform you that as a contractor for the Quama Consortium, you are held to the highest standards of conduct. But on a personal note, thank you. Now, we'll need to inspect the pens, speak with the Overseer, and take note of the Queen. Oh yes, a healthy Quama Queen is as good as gold around here. Their eggs are a staple food for Dark Elves. The Consortium outfits these mines with the best tools and workers money can buy. The Quama Consortium of Necrom oversees the care and husbandry of egg mines on the peninsula. Their export of eggs is second to none, but even one mine operating below expectations can lead to grumbles among shareholders. Myself and others like me, yes, auditors, adjusters if you will, we assess the egg mines to ensure they continue to meet the Consortium's production standards. Though that's certainly not to say I'm irreplaceable. Anchor Egg is a particularly important mine. It may seem dramatic, but I'm convinced any failure here will result in my dismissal. It isn't easy for an outsider like myself to be accepted into a Talvani business, so yes, I'm a bit worried. It's routine, really. Whenever the Consortium believes a mine is operating below standards, they send along an auditor to run an inspection. This usually entails the Overseer providing a comprehensive tour of the Quama pens and the mine's queen. Ulfengar. I've met him once before, back when the mine was first opened. Nord fellow, tough as rocks and sweet as salt, but a hard worker. You want that in an Overseer. To be honest, I'm surprised he's late. It's definitely out of the ordinary. I haven't the faintest idea. I was only sent along to conduct an audit, though the Consortium did seem rather on edge. They said I should expect to hear all sorts of excuses, from cave-ins to cultists. Laughable, I know, but it's part of the job. I shouldn't jump to conclusions, especially when I haven't had the chance to assess anything yet. But yes, my employers certainly seem to think so. After all, not every worker keeps their company's best interests in mind. I expected more activity in the mine, but... Oh, by the green! What happened here? Fomessa! Is she... Oh, no.
Is someone down there? Please, help us!
Someone's alive? Let's hurry.
Now you are a welcome sight. Please tell me the way out of here is clear. We were starting to lose any hope of escape. Show us, Bones. I ask for aid and they send an auditor. At this rate, there won't be a mine left to audit. I'm Overseer Ulfengar. The egg tenders behind me are Morsa and Barlock. We barely managed to escape the Quama, let alone those damned cultists. Yes, I sent word days ago asking for more guards. We first saw them sneaking around the mine, but now they've broken in somewhere near the hatchery. They've whipped the Quama into a frenzy, and I'm worried they're trying to poison the clutch. Fomessa went looking for survivors down the southern ramp. An egg-tender Gain left to scout the southeastern passageways for a way out. I ended up here with Marsa and Barlock. If there are others alive out there, you'd know better than me. Oh, Fomessa. She was hard as steel, and twice as sharp. If she didn't make it, that doesn't bode well for the rest of us. Can you find Gain? He made his way towards the mess cavern not too far from here. One of the egg hands, Gain, noticed young Quama returning to their pens with green slime. A few days later, we started spotting cultists skulking about. What better way to poison a clutch than to taint the young ones? There are plenty other mines across the peninsula. Killing this brood would only be an inconvenience to the Consortium, but yet the cultists are here in full force. I'm certain there must be more to their plan, but I have to look out for the miners.
From my notes, I think this was Gain, one of the chief egg hands. They're pulling each other apart. Look, a notice on the pen. Let's see what it says. green eye core. Could that be the source of this frenzy? This poor hive. Wait, who are these people? And what are they doing to this mine?
The afflicted Dicor has proven most effective. It has made short work of this egg mine.
This contagion will destroy Necrom's food sources and leave them begging for Lord Peryite's mercy.
Gods, all this destruction, all this suffering. Why are they doing this?
Enough! Bend to Peryite's will, encased my putrescent blades. You cannot stop the oncoming plague.
These cultists have done irreparable harm to this egg mine. But at least you dealt with their leader. Thank you.
Ah, yes.
Oh, no, what have they done to her? The mine is dead without its queen. Perhaps we can still harvest her pheromone gland? It's the only thing that might help us rebuild. Thank you. The consortium may be able to rebuild the hive with that. Poor thing. That's everything. Let's head outside. The Overseer and the others should have made it out by
Soon
now.
will fall, and Necrom will follow. Enough! Bend to Peryite's will, encased my putrescent blades. stop the oncoming plague.
Overseer, I'm glad you all made it out. With your expertise in the Queen's pheromone gland, we should be able to reopen the mine in...
Reopen the mine? After the Consortium left us to die? To sovereign God with this mine. You've got the Queen's gland, re-queen the mine yourself. We're leaving.
Orphangar, please reconsider. Orphangar? Friend, can you please talk to the Overseer? The people of Necrom will starve without this mine.
If Sindiath had wandered in here alone and gotten herself killed, how long before the Consortium sent another to find us? A day? A week? We're lucky someone of your mettle was nearby. You have my thanks, friend. Truly. It failed the moment those Consortium hawkers chose to ignore my letters. Does Sindiath really think a Queen's gland and some elbow grease will be enough to put that place to rights? You saw what those cultists were doing. It's blighted. Finished. So it's my burden then. Shore's bones. Those bastards are just greedy enough to risk it, aren't they? With a fresh queen's gland. Ah! No, we'd need an army of egghands, alchemists, a staffed garrison. The consortium would never agree to it. Well, I guess we'll find out. Let me see this gland. And Telsin Dieth will stay on if the consortium provides all the staff and resources I need. The moment they hedge, I'm leaving. And taking Malsa and Barlok with me. Necrom be damned.
That sounded like it went well. Please tell me you have some good news. I really need something to soften the blow of this report to my superiors at the Consortium. Oh, trust me, I'll make sure the Consortium does what is right. To send an auditor in place of soldiers? Unbelievable. The safety of the people of Necrom is my highest priority. Take my thanks, and everything that I owe you.
Good. You can start by making sure the families of those lost in the mine are properly taken care of.
Of course. Honoring those lost is the first step towards making things right. The first of many.
You there! You look like a capable forager. I need some help. Can we talk? Thank the ancestors you stopped. Right. Well, I'm in a bit of a predicament here. I need to collect ingredients for a medicinal tincture, and I simply don't have time. I need someone to help. Ah, yes. I am Balva Bemis, retainer to Oathman Lero Rawlis of House Telvanni. Lero suffers from beastly headaches, and I'm making a tincture to address his malady. I need some hard-to-attain ingredients. If you aid me, I'll pay you well. I need the musk gland of a bull netch. I spotted some netch remains around Kemel Z. Also a plant called the volcanic stinkhorn from near Salem Mora. And lastly, fungal blooms from a dead shroom beetle. The best ones skitter around Tel Drelloth.
Once you collect the ingredients, I'll make the necessary preparations at my workstation in Ald Isra. You know, getting the viscosity right and all that. Well, they're vital to the recipe. I don't want to bore you with the details, but the stinkhorn provides a binding catalyst, while the bullnetch musk gland balances the humors. They're very important. Yes, definitely. They provide a nutty, hay-like flavor. Covers up the bitterness of the brew, you see. He's a very demanding individual, even at the best of times. Commands with an iron fist, you know. And when these headaches strike, he is positively tyrannical. Yes, yes. I think it will address his malady fully. I mean, I hope so. He's terrible when he's like this.
I can't believe she... Please? I have no one else I can turn to. I need help. I worked as a servant in the towers of Tel Drelloth. Nathan, the son of Mistress Drelloth, is being kept prisoner there. At least, I think he must be. Nathan and I had plans to leave Tel Drelloth together. Someone must have found out, because the day we planned to leave, I was dismissed from my position. Mistress Drelloth, or Suthiel, I suppose, pushed me out without a chance to see Nathan. She's holding him against his will,
He'll be in the isolation tower. The only access is through the lab in the caverns that run underneath. There's a key in the top floor of the main tower. Please, can you help me? I'll pay for your assistance. Thank the eight you came along. I had no idea how I would do this on my own. I know Cecile would just throw me out again, but Nathan is my whole world. I can't possibly leave Tel Dreloth without him. The first step is finding that key. Certainly. You know, it's been so long since I spoke to another outsider. I didn't think I'd miss it so much. I say this with love, but Nathan's not a fighter. He's lived a sheltered life, and Cecile is a very skilled mage. But he wouldn't fight his mother anyway. Until he met me, he seemed content with heeding Cecile's every word. I wish I knew. If she were any other Telvanni master, I guess she didn't want her son settling for some lowborn servant girl. But nothing like that ever seemed to matter to Cecile. She was far more focused on her research than her rank anyway. From what I understand, she's trying to cure the Nahatan flu. It took the life of her husband many years ago, when Nathan was just a baby. I'm sure that's why she's so protective of her son, but it's no way to let him live. I heard Cecile used to keep test subjects in the isolation tower. If she's keeping him anywhere, I imagine it has to be there. He spends most of his time on the balcony of the main tower, but he hasn't been out there at all since I left. Would it matter? Nathan deserves to make his own choices, regardless of his mother's wishes. And if she really felt that way, why wouldn't she just make her feelings known instead of throwing me out? I wasn't trying to steal him from her. I used to ask myself that question every day. It all happened so fast. I had a big family in Cropsford. We fled east from Cyrodiil when the Three Banners War began. By the time I made it here, I'd lost everyone. I was on my own. She gave me lodging and fair wages, too. She was kind to me, in her way. I used to think it was out of some goodness of her heart that she took me in. After she dismissed me, I was left wondering if she even has a heart. Very little, actually. It's not what she said, rather... While packing, I found a note in my belongings, signed by Nathan, full of hurtful things. Things I know he would never say to me. I'm certain of it. I know Nathan's handwriting, and more than that, I know his heart. He'd never say such cruel things to me. And the fact that Cecile made up those lies hurts me even more. As in how we met? It's a bit of a silly story. I have a habit of whistling while I work. Songs from back home to keep my mind busy. One day, when I was working in the garden, I heard it. Chords of Chim El Adabal, coming from the balcony above me. He'd never even heard it before. He learned it on the lute just from listening to me. He would play, and I began to sing again. It was like Nathan gave me my voice back. And I could think of home again in a way that felt like healing. Nathan started dropping notes for me in the garden. He folded them so beautifully to look like flowers. He'd make up excuses to send for me. We'd stay up all night talking or reading. It took a long time for either of us to admit our feelings. I did. I'd suggested that Cecile was being a little overprotective of him. We were almost arguing about it when I just admitted that I'd fallen in love with him. But I didn't know if I wanted to stay at Tel Dreloth forever like Cecile. Only recently. That was Nathan's idea. After losing my family, I sought safety and found it in Tel Dreloth. But over time, we both realized life is too short, too precious to spend it stuck in just one place. We decided we wanted to see the world.
Fourth mortal, know that you stand in the presence of Hermaeus Mora. We must converse. Laramil has done well, and brought Fate's chosen into my unrelenting gaze. All other outcomes are now excluded. From this moment, Fate's ever-branching tree begins to grow again, and with it, new possibilities emerge. It concerns beginnings and endings, secrets too dangerous to reveal, and the stability of the threads of fate. Hidden rivals threaten my realm, and thereby threaten all of reality. If they succeed, fate will unravel and doom both our worlds. I am the golden eye of fate, and the keeper of whispers. Knowledge and memory are my domains. How this threat eludes me, I do not know. But you are the key to preserving Apocrypha. I have foreseen it, and in doing so, you shall save the mortal realm. Let Laramil guide you, as she can perceive the threads of fate without undue mental anguish. They converge in 3 locations, places of revelation. Meet her in the Necrom bindery, in the mortal city of the same name. Now, let us seal our covenant. The 3 glyphics before you contain the concepts necessary to create a contract to bind us. I submit to this as a promise of cooperation. You may serve as my proxy without fear of harming your own interests. Now, take the glyphics, combine them. Do you know so little, mortal? Apocrypha is my domain, a plane of oblivion I have shaped to my needs. And this plane, the mortal realm, some refer to it as Nern. As for the connection, just know that if Apocrypha falls, Nern will cease to exist. The scholars and mystics of your world call me a Daedric prince. What you see is only an aspect of my true self, for the mortal mind cannot contain the whole of me. This form suffices. Your mind must remain intact for you to be of use to fate. Precious little. They are shadows that vanish under my scrutiny, obscure figures that somehow hide from my gaze. It is disconcerting. Never have I been so blind. Every possible fate unfolds before me. They all lead to an event I thought erased from chance eons ago. If this course isn't altered, Apocrypha falls, reality unravels, and Nern is destroyed. This enemy eludes me, but you are my secret advantage. That is the reason fate chose you. Your instinctual ability to succeed no matter the obstacles placed before you, no matter the odds. Follow the threads I selected for Laramil. See where they lead. That is the key to saving both our realms. Fate takes many paths, mortal. Find Laramil in Necrom, and choose wisely.
There's the main tower. And you can see the isolation tower to the north there. They're not like the towers back home. But they're beautiful in their own way. Good. Nobody's noticed us so far. The key is in that chest. It's a spare for when the researchers misplace theirs. Got it? Let's speak for a moment. All right, we have the key. This is going better than I thought it would. And it's strange. Everything looks so different in here without the wards. It all feels so empty. Nathan's protective wards. You know, Sathiel's magic barriers that kept Nathan's half of the tower in isolation. I couldn't cross them at all. They certainly made tidying up a bit of a trial. I mentioned the wards before. Sorry. I guess I've been here so long it's become normal to me. Sathiel said the outside world would kill Nathan, and she was working on a cure. But as far as I know, she and her husband were trying to cure the Nahuatl flu. He died years ago, when Nathan was just a baby, from the disease they were trying to cure. Sathiel must be sheltering Nathan for fear of losing him, too. She's doing it out of love. That I can understand. But that doesn't make it right. We'll take the portal pad to the cellar. Then the key will get us into the labs. From there, it's just making our way through the caverns to the isolation tower. As long as we don't cross Sathiel, the others will be too busy to stop us. Good question. I've never known her to be particularly combative, but if Nathan's wards were any indication, she does wield very powerful magic. Which she may use to escort us out. Nathan's well-being is a family affair, and the researchers are far more focused on their work. They're tasked with observing their subjects for the slightest changes, so they won't keep their eyes on us for long, anyway. Test subjects for her experiments. Animals, as far as I know. Some of the experiments are rather grisly. I kept away from the lab for that exact reason. I've heard some of these Telvanni use slaves for such things, but Sathiel's not like that. No, and that's exactly what worries me. She's tested no cures on him because there's nothing to cure. He's not sick. She just wants control. Poor Nathan. His mother loves him, but it's almost like she's the one with the sickness. I don't think I've ever seen it this empty down here. Where is everyone? Wait, what are these subjects doing out of containment? Why are they like this? What has Sathiel done to them? Are those research notes? Look around. Maybe there's something here that explains what happened. What's that? It looks like a letter. What did you find? Anything that explains what's happened? Let me see. No, I'd never write such a thing. Did Cecile write this? Does she really think this sounds like me? What did the research notes say? Spores? The researchers spoke of those. Little seeds on the air, invisible to the eye like flu or fever. I think that's how molds and mushrooms make more of themselves. Delman spore sample. Delman. Delman? What is that? It sounds like a name. It sounds familiar. I just can't place where I've heard it before. She mentions these toxic spores interfering with wards. Does that mean Nathan's wards? If these spores reach the isolation tower, he could be in danger. No, the observation outpost. What happened? Where is everyone? Shay, thank the 8, you're all right.
Dacia, stranger, you shouldn't be here. Too dangerous. Go no further. Spores nearly killed me. Barely exposed. Natural immunity. I will live. Heard shouting, then screaming. Everyone came running. Big mistake. Subject spores. Too strong. Wanted to escape. Mistress Dreloth. She coaxed him back to isolation. Delman, too strong. Stronger than I've ever seen. Delman, Mistress Dreloth's greatest experiment. The cure, the affliction. Delman did this. Trouble breathing. Barely survived. The other researchers, not so lucky. Too late for them. Go no further. You could be killed.
I'm glad Tunche is all right. But he's just given us more questions than answers. I know he's one of her most trusted assistants, but if this Delman is one of Cethil's experiments, how does Tunche not blame her for what happened here? I know, but... fetch it all! I just wish I could remember where I've heard it before. Delman. Delman. No, that's just the trouble. If Nathan had said or written it, I'd probably remember it exactly. Delman. Delman. It's on the tip of my tongue. Where did Tunche say Cethil took the subject again? That must mean the isolation tower. Where Nathan is. Let's keep going. I don't know what we're going to do, but Cethil needs to be stopped. The researchers too? Gods, what has she done? Wait. Do you feel that? It's like we're being watched.
I've tolerated this incursion long enough. Whoever you are, you've fallen for Dacia's fanciful tale. And now you're enabling her dangerous obsession with my son. Nathan made his feelings for Dacia perfectly clear in the letter he wrote. Or was that vital piece of information kept from you? So what if I did? They both do well to believe it. They can never be together, do you hear me? Never. Leave this place. Forget all that you've seen, or you'll end up worse than Tunche. Delman? Where did you hear this name, Delman? Ah, I see. So your half-informed mind proves far more dangerous than an uninformed one. You cannot help. Leave this place, or I will do everything in my remaining power to stop you.
Delman was her husband. That's right. I must have heard it from her once, long ago when she first brought me on. He died from the Nahatan flu. The thing she's trying to cure. I've never seen her like this before. I don't know. Has she gone mad? Was she always this way? If so, she's been hiding it, and I can't blame her. If she were carted off to Gorn, she'd be parted from Nathan. The thought of it probably only made things worse for her. If you mean to heed Cethiel's words and leave, then I'll have to go on alone. Nathan is my whole world. I'm not leaving without him.
You cannot fight the danger that lies ahead. This is your last chance. Dacia, turn back, or you may never leave this tower again.
Dacia, stay back. I tried to escape, but she was right. My mother was right about everything.
Nathan, what are you talking about? We're here to rescue you.
Stay back from the ward. Mother says it's already in a weakened state due to the strength of my affliction. I don't recognize you, stranger. What are you doing with Dacia? Rescue? Then she really does love me? There was this note, you see. I was certain it was fake, but then I saw you and, well, I started to wonder. But I cannot leave. If you came through the caverns, you must have seen what I'm capable of. My father, yes. The affliction my mother gave me. She named it after him. I didn't know until I tried escaping. The wards were never for my protection. They kept others safe from me. If I had left with Dacia when we planned, she'd be dead. A living cure. A symbiote that protects its host with toxic spores. I would not be alive without it, and it would not thrive without me. All these years, she really has been trying to cure me so I might live a normal life. Why did I ever doubt her?
So now you know the truth. I'd kept this secret from Nathan his whole life. That he might not grow up knowing he was a monster of my own making. That he might keep his will to live while I sought a cure. After all, I gave him the Nahatan flu and cured him of that too. Delmin and I were trying to save the world. A promising fungal spore sample was on its way from Black Marsh when Delmin caught the very thing we were trying to cure. And I lost him. I had to know if the spores would have saved him. And now I know. Nathan came from me. I am enough of him that the fungal symbiote does not register me as a separate entity, and therefore not a threat to its host. That is when I named it. Delman Mycota. The cure, like love, that would be with us always. The truth is a poor cure for love. I did not want Dacia to share my fate of being shackled to Tel Dreloff by her own heartstrings, so I tried to drive her away. But since hers is a love that clearly cannot be cured, I have devised a choice for her. If Dacia is willing, I can safely inoculate her with the same spores I used on Nathan. She will share his affliction and his confinement, but they will be together, and she will want for nothing, except perhaps her freedom. Then she can make herself useful and help me find a cure. I'll hire her on again. I need someone dependable to procure rare ingredients to keep testing possible cures for Delman Mycota. Perhaps someday she can be one of my researchers. My researchers signed on with me because of my area of study. They knew the dangers of Delman Mycota as well as its potential. All that space in the labs was necessary for safe experimentation. I regret their loss, but they knew the risks. Or, if I had time to think of a more believable lie to tell the both of them. I knew they had been meeting for quite some time. When I overheard their plans to run away together, I had to act quickly, or else risk Dacia's certain death. Of course I did. I was glad for it at first. Dacia brought Nathan happiness. If only they could have remained content being in love, with the wards up between them. It was only when they doubted me that things got dangerous. And now, here we are. I've been studying Delman Mycota for over 20 years. If anyone can find a cure, it's me. I'm not about to abandon my life's most important work. There has to be something that can eradicate the fungus once it's disposed of the Nahatan flu. What does it matter if she and Nathan are able to live out their days together? I'd only prioritize curing her. But I am a researcher. I am not above recognizing the benefit of additional subjects with which to compare results. I suppose my research notes wouldn't give you the whole picture, would they? Toonshay, one of my most devoted researchers, discovered it in a pool of brackish water deep within Black Marsh. Its capture and transport was quite the undertaking. When bonded inside the lungs of its host, Delman Mycota passively produces spores toxic to almost all non-fungal life, as you saw in the caverns. It seems to eradicate anything that might threaten the life of its host, including the Nahatan flu. It is sensitive to smoke, a herald of fire, which causes it to release reproducing spores in anticipation of finding a new host. These are the spores we would use to inoculate Dacia, if that is what she chooses. Correct. Somehow, Delman Mycota recognizes itself, and of course doesn't see itself as a threat. Argonians like Toonshay are a different case, but only barely. Their natural resistance to toxins very nearly meets its match with Delman Mycota.
Nathan and I could finally be together. But the way to do so means becoming his mother's experiment. But I'd be safe, provided for. I'd get to dance and sing every day with the one I love. Some would kill for such a gentle life. Leaving for good is no option for me. My heart is Nathan's and his is mine. If I don't give up my freedom, I can help Cecile find a cure. I'd get to see the world like I always wanted, but I'd be in her service. And I'd be alone. Life offers no guarantee of love either, but I found that, didn't I? I don't see it as giving up my freedom. I see it as a choice of how I get to show my love. But my heart is split. If you were in my place, which would you choose? I made it this far. I can work and wander a bit longer to have Nathan by my side for good someday. Cecile and I are going to find that cure. Thank you for helping me see the best path forward, stranger. Here's your reward.
Dacia, I love you. I'm glad you're going to see the world.
Nathan, until you can see it with me, my road will always lead back to Tel Dreloff.
That was a waste of time. No one goes to Salem Mora anymore, and now I can see why. Getting badgered by priests and buoyant armigers isn't worth seeing the one impressive relic they keep at the shrine. Is that where you're headed? The Shrine of St. Voorhees? Patron saint of House Telvanni? It's the only reason why anyone would go to Salem Mora. I stopped by to see the relic of St. Voorhees, but the High Priest wouldn't even let me get close enough to get a good look. I didn't stay long enough to find out. Apparently, it's an honor just to be in its mere presence. Didn't feel like anything special to me. If you're headed that way, maybe you can see what all the fuss is about. Good luck, outsider. You're going to need it.
This is your last heist, Lock of Rosgard! Mark my words!
The talisman of St. Voorhees will be mine, and I'm all yours, Relasi, if you can catch me.
The Lark of Rosgard is so smug when he's got the high ground. He won't be so smug when he's level with my boot. And his little disappearing act. Let me get my hands on him, and I'll make him disappear. That fetching thief has been a thorn in my side for far too long. He's planning to rob the shrine at Salem Mora of the sacred relic of St. Voorhees. I need extra hands if I'm to stop him. Yours could do. Are you looking for work? Stand in for me at the shrine and the Khajiit caravan nearby. Ask questions. Search for any clues or suspicious activity and assure the High Priest that I have everything under control. Help me, and I'll make sure you're compensated for your time. High Priest Treelan will be your point of contact at the shrine. He seems insistent the Khajiit are involved in the heist somehow. I have a feeling they're only guilty of poor timing. Meet me back here when you're done. I'm Relasi. I'm a buoyant armiger and I serve the will of the Tribunal. I'm fully aware that I may be more straight-laced than other armigers you've met. No need to remark on it. My standing orders are to apprehend the Lark. That's why I'm here. History. That's one way to put it. The others in my order seem to delight in romanticizing this cat-and-mouse dynamic the Lark plays up between us. I tell you, there's nothing poetic about persistently playing the fool in someone else's story. I can detail the charges of his past exploits once we've caught him. Arrogant Fetcher might even tell you himself. See, he has to evade me every time. I only have to capture him once. By Vivek, and with your help, today's going to be the day. The Lark of Rosgard is a slippery, pompous, no-good brigand. He plots his exploits and picks his marks to sow misery, reap notoriety, and make my life difficult. I know very little about the relic. You might ask about it up at the shrine. The Talisman of St. Voorhees is exactly what you'd expect. It's gaudy and ancient, and the High Priest will no doubt be thrilled to enlighten you on its history. Those details don't help me in stopping the Lark, which is my primary concern. Please, the Lark of Rosgard enlist an accomplice? That fetching glory hound would never. That fetching wasn't in regards to his looks, by the way. His mask prevents me from making any objective assessment. What else did you want to know? I fear the Lark might leave a note for me at the shrine, if he hasn't already. Aggravating little habit of his. Keep it hidden from the High Priest if you can. He already thinks little of me for how I've handled the Khajiit camp. In short, I haven't. They're Bandari peddlers, a group of nomads with a bit of an unsavory reputation for theft. High Priest Treelam thinks they have something to do with the intended theft of the Talisman of St. Voorhees. I'm not convinced. A caravan of alleged pickpockets taking blame for the Lark's grand larceny? That's preposterous. And worse, it's unjust. Questioning from an armiger seems unnecessarily hostile. I'm glad to send you in my stead. I've got a plan of my own already in motion. Crucial pieces of it need tending to. But I can tell you more about that when we meet up later. Unless you have more questions, I suggest you be on your way. Meet me here when you're done.
Why are we stopping here, when these dark elves lurk about the edges of our camp?
Oh, Shadea, you worry too much. Surely they mean us no harm.
Old fool.
Luck be with you, Walker. This one is Elier Sodro, Caravan Elder. Our wares and coin are in short supply, but our camp is open to all who may seek to rest and be at ease. What does your heart seek that we may provide? No. We Bandari are used to scrutiny, but rarely from such a distance. The Dark Elves in these lands seem colder than most. This is no matter. This one extends his warmest welcomes to you instead. The shrine. Oh, that shrine. It is a place holy to Dark Elves, yes? Of little interest to us Khajiit. This one is late in his years and does not remember. But he may have accidentally wandered through? Yes, that was probably so. Ask Shadea. This one thought it sensible to hire protection while crossing a land rife with slavers, and her sharp eyes miss nothing. And you are welcome to ask around our camp, Walker. Make yourself at home among the Bandari. As Bandari, our travels take us wherever the roads may lead us. The roads happen to lead us here, to this Selen Mora. We sought to stay at the grand outpost east of here, but it seems to be in ruins. Perhaps you have come across our kind in your travels before. No matter. We are traveling merchants, seeking to sell our wares in all corners of the land. This one was born on the road and has traveled with this caravan all of his days. Shadea and her mercenaries are not, though they would be welcome among us if they desired to be. Our clan opens its arms to those who wish to follow the way of the Bandari. Very different from what this one has seen of these Telvanni, yes? This one has seen many years pass, and wearies more easily of travel. He thinks just this one more night will do well for his aching bones. You are welcome to join us, Walker. We have food and tents to spare for those who share our company.
This one's father may not be bothered by the treatment of these mercenaries, but Urishabi cannot say the same.
What is it you want? Your nose is too close to my face. This one is called Shadea. She and her mercenaries are here only to protect the caravan for coin. This one dislikes this place and will remain no longer than she must. You have questions? Talk to the elder. This one knows nothing. This one is not in the habit of paying tithes to foreign saints. The elder may have gone, but he insisted others stay at the camp. Fine by this one, so long as she gets paid. Yes, a nosy walker came to spy and ask foolish questions, and Shadea was the only one bothered by this. Then again, the elder and his family are Bandari. They are used to being treated like criminals. Anything else, nosy walker? Stand a bit closer and find out. This one is quick with her blade and does not hesitate to stick it in those who ask for it. Pray that won't be you. Bother someone else if you're looking for a job, Walker. This one's band has no room to cut in another share. These peddlers can barely afford us as it is.
all may bask in the talisman's divine glory. From a respectful distance, please. If you're here to bask in the presence of the talisman of St. Voorhees, I humbly ask that you do so out of arm's reach. If you have any questions about the relic's history, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Shh! Not so loud! This is a very delicate situation. We need to ensure that what few pilgrims we have aren't scared off by any of this. Relossi hasn't exactly kept us apprised of her plans. What did she send you to do? Of course she did. That's it. I'm sending a priest to shadow her. After Relossi came through to examine the talisman, I've had to stand watch. I've made sure not to let anyone get too close, especially not any outsiders. It's been exhausting. An Elder Khajiit came by and showed more genuine curiosity for St. Voorhees than any Telvanni that visited the shrine in years. I'm not worried about him, Sarah. I've heard the dangerous ones travel in groups, like that caravan nearby. Mind yourself. I'm so glad you asked. This shrine has stood since the dawn of the Second Era in honor of St. Voorhees the Immolent, patron saint of House Telvanni. I am the High Priest, and I oversee the care of our most valued relic, the Talisman of St. Voorhees. St. Voorhees believed that we honor our ancestors through the forceful expression of will over others. The gem within the relic exemplifies this belief. It was claimed in conquest during his march across elsewhere. Not stole, claimed in conquest. The shrine is dedicated to exercising our forceful expression of will. We hope to someday unravel the hidden mystical properties held by the gem that eluded even the great Saint Voorhees until his death. Testing one's will on the talisman serves as a humbling reminder that forceful expression of one's will is an unending journey. Salen Mora used to be a haven for aspiring Telvanni, pilgrims eager to test their mettle. But alas, those days are gone. Most come to visit the crypts. Few stay to properly observe the majesty of the relic. I cannot understand why. Admittedly, we have had an influx of visitors since this Lark character announced his intentions to steal the talisman. I'd hate to think that spectacle was the only thing calling pilgrims to the shrine anymore. And if the Lark succeeds, there won't be anything here worth visiting for at all. Please, make sure Relossi stops him, will you? Excuse me. Please step back from the relic.
He's here. The locker's in the crypt. He just slipped past.
I just saw him. The Lark of Rosgard. He's in the crypts. Just need a moment to catch my breath. I was setting up protective runes in the crypts when some swit priest came bumbling in after me and set them off. We were forced to flee when the spirits of the interred attacked us, and then the Lark of Rosgard managed to slither into the crypts. He's so slippery, there's no guarantee they'll even slow him down. Quickly, please. If you can help deter the spirits, I'm sure we can corner him and stop this once and for all. Quickly, into the crypts! We can't let him get away! Hurry! The lock can't be too far ahead!
The way that priest tripped all of your protective runes, it's almost like they're working against you, Relasi.
No! Get him!
Relasi, who's your friend? Are you ever going to introduce us?
Quit running away, and I'll do more than that.
If only those priests had listened to you, Relasi. You know, it's not too late to switch sides.
Shut up! I'm not switching sides!
I know that fetcher's here somewhere. Let's see if we can draw him out.
And the talisman is mine! You know,
Nobody saw me. How could the Lark have known? He has the talisman. The real talisman. I made a replica of the original. Switched it out without the High Priest knowing. Then, I hid the real one down here to keep it safe. The High Priest refused my order to take the relic off display. He thinks it's safe as long as he's watching it. But the Lark could steal stripes off a cat. If I couldn't stop his heist, I thought I could at least trick him into taking a replica. That arrogant swit! And if that foolish priest hadn't prematurely set off my runes, I'd have clipped the Lark's wings and had him dead to rights! Tell me this isn't over. Tell me you found something useful. Something at the Khajiit camp, maybe. A story. Great. What reason would this elder have to visit the... Wait. Did you read this? His legend says the relic holds this Eye of Bandar. Fetch it all! I need you to get back to the camp quickly, before the High Priest intervenes. Keep an eye on that elder. If he's really involved, he may not know the danger he's put himself in. Believe me, even if only one of the Khajiit is conspiring with the Lark, the High Priest will make sure the entire caravan suffers for it. I'll see to High Priest Treelam. I'll assure him that you're in pursuit of our thief and everything is going as planned. If you don't manage to recover the talisman, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. You really think they'd have packed up all those tents and left in the time it took us to get through the crypts? Nobody's that fast. Not even the Lark of Rosgard. The replica, you mean? I know what the Lark said. But I actually have principles. A code I try to live by. I can downplay the caravan's involvement, but I'd have to tell the truth about my actions. I've caused enough trouble already. You mean the third-hand account that directly challenges the religious importance of the most sacred relic in the shrine of this peninsula's most influential patron saint? I wasn't planning on it, no. Did you forget who you're talking to? It's not my place to challenge the faith in any of the patron saints of the Great Houses. And even if it was, do you really think that stubborn High Priest would give the story any credibility? I don't. Because I'm an armiger, I should delight in such a grand and poetic experience. But no matter how clever or prepared I am, every chapter against the Lark ends with me playing the fool. This refrain only ends when I beat him for good. Go ahead. I'll meet up with you soon.
Walker, help. Please. They're still alive in the ruins. Walker, please. Save my family. Shadea kept pushing to leave. Elir Sudro insisted we stay. And then he told her everything. The relic, the thief, secrets we swore to keep. He spoke on the ice value to the Bandari, but she heard only the promise of coin. Took them to the ruins. The relic is the price of their lives. Too late for me, Walker. Please, find the Lark. Save the others.
Everything went off without a... Wait. Where is everyone? What happened here? Did you do this? I knew Relasi was desperate to get me, but I never thought she'd order something like this. Shadea? Why did he tell her? That old cat is too quick to assume the good in everyone. And perhaps I'm about to make the same mistake, but I'll ask it plainly. Can I count on your help in rescuing my client and his family or not? You think the Bandari are paying me? They could barely afford to pay their mercenaries. The Lark of Rosgard never leaves a job unfinished. Simple as that. Stealing is so inelegant a word for what I do. I prefer to think of it as reacquisition. And the simple answer is that some things are much better earned than bought. Trust, for example. If I give you the talisman, will I have earned yours? When we get to the ruins, I need you to barter with Shadea. Do whatever you can to keep her occupied with the talisman. While you do that, I'll do what I do best. It's a gamble, but I think we can pull it off. I have some answers, but let's not go on too long. As much as I'd welcome seeing Relasi, I think it's best if we keep ahead of her for the moment. She was on duty guarding the Library of Vivek when she almost caught me reacquiring a rare first edition on behalf of the original author. She took it very personally, and she's been obsessed with catching me ever since. Oh, sure. Within kissing distance every time we've met. The only reason she hasn't yet is luck. Plain and simple. But you'll never see me admitting that to her. Better to leave her thinking I'm at least one step ahead. She's obsessed with my every movement. But I'm the flirty one. Sure. Oh, I wonder if she'll be jealous when she finds out we've been working together. I keep telling her we should run away together. That's probably what she tells herself to keep from saying yes. You really don't trust me, do you? If you must know, I was waiting until you ran off to try and catch a moment alone with Relasi. If I had known what happened with Shadea, I would have come straight here. Nothing. All the times we met before, there was this fire in her eyes when she pursued me. Now it's gone. I think I pushed her too far this time. I thought making my presence known would have just made things worse, so I left her alone. I met Elir Sudro with a bounty on my head. He could have turned me in for the payout. Instead, he welcomed me into the caravan. And that story of his ancestor tricking St. Voris into coveting the Eye of Bandar always stuck with me. The Bandari believed that favors should be passed on, not repaid. The Lark of Rosgard was born from that idea. Still, we both always wanted to reclaim the Eye of Bandar, so we planned it with some trickery of our own. Leave that to the customs of the Bandari. His family wanted to reclaim the Eye just as much as him. Going alone was never an option. Still, the camp was vital to misdirect investigation, just as the Lark of Rosgard's reacquire, not steal. And no, the only things I keep are memories and my notorious name. I'll meet you at the ruins. Remember to keep Shadea talking as long as possible.
Walker, come no closer or this one will bleed out the Elder. Where is the thief?
Shadea, please. This one is sure that Walker means no harm. We can talk through this, yes?
You should have kept your nose to yourself, Walker. This does not concern you. What? Where did you... It does not matter. Give it to Shadea, now! With so many hands grasping for it, someone must pay well for it, yes? Shadea is losing patience. Toss it over now! What was that? No! Curse you, thief! No! You will pay for this, Walker! Surrender the talisman or the others die!
Please, Walker. Save this one's family. Give her the talisman if you must.
That's Relassi. Follow my lead and play along.
Stop right there!
You've tricked me out of the talisman, but you'll never catch me alive!
Scoundrel! Thief! This one is not injured, Walker. Perhaps it is a better fate than he deserves. This one misplaced his trust, and now pays dearly for it. Those who tried to fight back were killed. Please, Walker, none of this was worth the lives of my family. Save who you can.
I came as quickly as I could. As soon as I saw what happened at the camp, I followed the tracks here to the outpost. Pavek, what a terrible thing. If there are any others left alive, we need to save them. I'd have been here sooner, but High Priest Treelam kept badgering me with questions. He hasn't even realized his precious relic was replaced with a fake. When I got there, he'd taken it off the pedestal and was clutching it to his chest. While there are lives at stake, I couldn't give a nix. If you can go after them, I'll escort the Elder here safely out of the caverns. Can I still count on you?
My thanks, Walker.
This one shall pay your favor forward.
You are a true friend to the Bandari.
Oh, good. I was starting to get worried. The others just passed me. They're safe. Now, all that remains is to decide the fate of the Talisman of St. Voorhees. She wouldn't. The only person Relassi wants to suffer for this crime is me. And she still needs to catch me. Besides, If the High Priest knew about her little stunt with the replica talisman, she'd be finished. We've got that we can hold over her. Way ahead of you. While you were saving the hostages, I doubled back and managed to steal Relassi's replica off the High Priest personally. Serves him right for not listening to my favorite armiger in the first place. So I could give it to you. Will you honor the patron saint of House Telvanni by restoring his shrine's most beloved spoil of war? Or will you don the mask of the pariah and deliver them the replica? The choice is now yours. For everyone involved to keep their desired reputations, there is no one else I can trust with this decision. It has to be you. I mean, I know what I'd do, but it's in your hands now. As far as Relassi knows, you only have the original talisman. If you give the original to Elior Sudro and the replica to Relassi, she'll have to pretend it's the real thing, or get herself in a whole world of trouble by admitting how she lost it. Then you'll have honored the tribunal and saved the shrine of St. Voorhis from a fate of worshipping a worthless trinket with no real mystical properties for time immemorial. Or perhaps they'd be doing that either way. Who can say? What they don't know won't hurt them. The Eye of Bandar has been lost for generations, and yet the Bandari kept its legend alive through stories. Is the faith in St. Voorhis so fragile that the loss of one relic would send it crumbling? That question, my friend, would be best asked of Elior Sudro. Though if you've heard the tale of his little ancestor, you may have some understanding of it already. Relassi has made things hard for herself, remaining a decent person in her line of work. Even her making that replica was done with the best of intentions. Chasing someone for so long with little to no headway can't be easy. She deserves a win. When we've just started having fun? No, no. The Lark's got plenty of work to do, believe me. And if I wind up playing the fool in Relassi's story more often, I think that's something I can live with. Relassi follows a code, as did St. Voorhis, as do the Bandari, as I do, and I'm sure you do too. Our codes clash and harmonize. Most of the time, they pass in quiet opposition. I'm holding out hope that Relassi and I will harmonize again someday. No, no. See, the important thing here is that Relassi didn't catch me. In fact, you looking like you caught me works in my favor. Trust me. She needs the encouragement. It'll keep her from giving up. My reputation wouldn't be half of what it is today without Relassi making me notorious. That's a valuable thing to have in a long-term adversary. And she keeps me on my toes. That's useful. Even if I'd much rather she have me on my back. See you around, stranger. And send my fondest farewells to Relassi, will you?
The Walker has returned. 1,000 blessings to you, savior of the Bandari. This one mourns those lost when Shadea's greed overtook her. But we would have lost so much more if it were not for you, Walker. This one knows not how to express his thanks. The buoyant armiger, she failed to catch our tricky friend, yes? Ha! So, the fate of the Eye of Bondar falls to you. Whichever way you choose, Walker. This one asks only that you do not use what you learned today about the Eye to challenge the faith of those who serve at this shrine. This one grew up hearing the story of his little ancestor, sparing the life of her caravan by tricking the Fiery One into his obsession with the Eye. Now, this one followed his own obsession and lost many. Ask what you will. This one will answer. Ah, by all appearances, it is a simple gem trapped within a gilded talisman, yes? The Eye of Bandar is a relic traded between clans of Bandari. The holder may ask for any item, any favor within means, and the receiver must provide. Should you break it free from the talisman, you would see. It is moonstone, worth very little coin, yes? And yet, it is rubbed smooth and small from passing between the hands of my people. A symbol of indulgence and trading in good faith. You mean that the Eye of Bandar inside the relic has no hidden magic at all? By the code of the Bandari, such words would be unwelcome in the ears of those who follow Saint Voris. They would cause harm, and so we discourage them. This one cannot say, Walker. This one only has the code of the Bandari to indulge the beliefs of others. Besides, to wield the truth in such a way would ruin the most fragrant mischief of the story of the little ancestor, yes? Walker, this one is at a loss for words. Our caravan will pay forward your generosity 1,000 times, but what will become of the shrine of Saint Voris? Very good, Walker, very good.
Good, you're back. Just as we planned.
The Lark got away, but the remaining Khajiit are safe, right? Then it's a victory in my book. Did you recover anything else for me? I recognize my handiwork. I'll be a hero returning this to the shrine. It's a false victory, but no one needs to know that besides us. Take your payment. If we meet again, I hope it will be after I've taken the upper hand on the Lark of Rosgard. What happened today was a setback, but the knowledge is my burden to bear. No one needs to learn from it except me. I'll make it right by capturing the Lark of Rosgard next time. I swear it. I'll send a report to my superiors. I'll remain in Salem Mora for a few days, just to make sure it's safe. And then I'll likely be back on the trail of the Lark of Rosgard. Oh, I've always had an eye for that sort of thing. The sacred gem looked enough like moonstone that I made it work in a pinch. A little bit of weathering, using some basic spells, and that's it. Sometimes I wonder if I got in the wrong line of work. It's just being furtive and aware of your surroundings. I suppose I have some sort of intuition I picked up from my work on... You know what? I'm going to stop this line of questioning right here. No. I get enough teasing about how good a thief I'd be from the Lark of Rosgard. I don't need it from you two. Now run along before I decide to change my mind about not taking anyone into custody for this case.
Armiger Relossi, your efforts in returning this relic to our shrine will be noted.
Don't know if anyone's lurking, but I'm hungry, so I'm going to raid out. And I might stream tomorrow as well. We'll see.